Interested in media coverage with over 80,000 podcast playbacks per month, along with automated outreach to thousands of customized targets to grow your revenue more efficiently? With over $8 billion in new sales pipeline growth delivered to our partners so far, we can help. Please reach out for more information. Hey everybody, welcome to Freight Executive Insights. I am Michael Vincent and he is John Brewer, and together we're Vincent Brewer. Which it easily could have been Brewer Vincent. It really doesn't matter. It depends on, just who gets to make the marketing material, and I do. So it's Vincent Brewer is what it is. But you may also know him as Weird Uncle Al, or John Weird Uncle Al Brewer, right?
That's right.
That's the other one. Is that your professional name or just your stage name?
I think now that the election's over, I'm going to have it legally changed to that.
Oh, you are? Okay, fantastic. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, get a life. No, you need to look.
You've offended all 13 of our fans, man.
All 13 of our fans.
Yeah, and one of them is my mother.
Well, sorry about that, John Brewer's mom. Remember that, signed Juan Epstein's mother. Yeah, got to check out our tunes, brother, because we're working on one. And I love the Christmas tune that you're working on right now, my brother.
I was thinking about it the other day, and it's like, for some reason, right around Christmas time, I tend to like Garth Brooks. So this is our second Garth Brooks Christmas.
No, they're good, and nothing against Garth Brooks, but they're easy tunes to play the music to.
Yeah,
and country music generally is much easier than the one I'm currently struggling with, which I think was my suggestion anyways.
It was your suggestion. Yes, it was.
Yeah. But let's get into this, man. For people who don't know who CKE Restaurants is, don't know the actual brand names, are we allowed to talk about that, or is that proprietary stuff like the secret sauce?
We can go high level on that. CKE owns the Hardys and Carl's Jr.
I got you. Right. And so as director of distribution and logistics for that, for those people who are, we got new brokers, we got old brokers, we got CEOs, we got all kinds of people that are on this show. What is your interaction with the service providers, whether they be, intermediaries or direct to carriers, et cetera?
If you're talking about brokers and asset-based carriers, I'm probably the second escalation level. It's kind of like you really don't want to be talking to me because you're in trouble.
I got you.
So I have two individuals currently, and I also had two at my former job that it would bubble up to first. And if they were being overlooked or unable to reach out, then it would come to me. So on that side of it, on a distribution level, we're a little bit higher up. Even at my last place of business, we're meeting on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis. Everybody, all the stakeholders are on the call, and we're discussing upcoming events. We're discussing, new ad space at my former employer. What that's going to drive. Headwinds as well as tailwinds. So.
Gotcha. So you're the next level. You're the level up that is the strategic player as to. So the current operations, if it gets to a level where you got to come in, there's an issue. You're stomping out fires. You're or more than fires, probably more like wildfires or something like that, right? Or there's a potential change that needs to be made.
It's either magnitude or. Like I said, it's magnitude, or if we get, completely overwhelmed, like the workload is surging, then I'll jump down in the trench and grab a shovel and help get us back to where life is normal.
Yeah. Right. But other than that, it's you're looking at, okay, what ads are coming up, what specials are coming up, what holidays are coming up, what season is it? I would imagine changes the needs for the capacity and distribution and logistics capacity, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's even the last company I worked for, their products were seasonal. They sold corn syrup right around Thanksgiving, and you know what corn syrup goes into pecan pies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the corn oil they sold, their peak season was Cinco de Mayo because everybody fried their tortillas in the oil.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's seasonality there. So we kind of had the spring buttoned up, we had the winter kind of buttoned up, but we didn't really have anything in the summer to keep keep the revenue stream relatively stable, right?
Yeah.
So we partnered with a grill manufacturer, backyard grill manufacturer, charcoal grill, to my knowledge, and we did a line of spices and sauces that complemented their grills and put their name on it. So that took care of the summer stuff, and so we were running more spices during the summer. So
Gotcha.
it kind of flattened everything out.
I got you. As far as the need for the, so that's an interesting take because, and I love these talks because you go down these rabbit holes that you don't expect, right? But
Exactly.
when you're on the carrier side or you're on the broker side, you're on the service provider side, you're always looking for all those. You're trying to balance your power and truckload, et cetera. And LTL, you're trying to fill the cube and your freight mix, and also, your, I guess to some degree, your head haul and back haul lanes and that type of stuff, right? As overall as a company, and trying to find those filling the capacity throughout the season, right? And on the shipper side, which you're on, you just kind of explained how you were trying to not only look at filling the seasonality of the business, if the business is very seasonal, but does that trickle down to keeping those logistics and distribution partners busy as well, so you stay on their radar as an important client? How important is that for you to keep them happy and busy? What's the importance there level?
Absolutely. Great question, man. Obviously, you can't invite too many people to the table because sooner or later somebody's going to starve, and that doesn't benefit anybody. Uh, doesn't help the relational side of the business either. It kind of puts a black eye on it, and I'm huge on relationships. So you have to kind of balance that out so that everybody's kind of getting fed equally. I will tell you one thing we did at my previous employer. Um, we had a plan up in Chicagoland, and the way they produced product was by market. So you'd have, we'd be going to Southern Cali, Northern Cali, Texas,
Mm.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That's where all our DCs were. So what would happen is they would run, kind of balls to the wall, and you'd have a big surge going to one location, right? And then next week it'd be a big surge to another location, and so on and so on and so on. And it just wreaked havoc on capacity because the carriers who were hauling the West Coast loads weren't hauling the East Coast loads, and vice versa. So we got to partner with another carrier, and we just basically let them pool all their equipment so we could load anything on their trailers that we wanted to. So we had
Mm.
a pool there, right?
Yeah.
And we could we could load anything we wanted to, whether it was going West Coast, East Coast, didn't matter. And that way it smoothed out the spikes in the markets because you just turn the one water spigot off and turn another one on.
Yeah. So like logistics providers that have started these kind of, and it started back, you remember the talk about gray fleets, et cetera, like that and stuff like that when, oh, we're going to have autonomous trucks like, 15, 20 years ago. And, this is going to happen tomorrow. Everybody started talking about gray fleets, and you won't see CH Robinson on the side of this or US Express or Swift on the side of that. It'll just be gray fleets moving around autonomously, right? Doing all this stuff. But what did happen is you had brokers or intermediaries go out and buy assets, right? Non-power units, just trailers and fleets. That's kind of what you did on your own, right?
Kind of. It was more of a partnership deal, but it served the same purpose.
Served the exact same purpose, right? You've got the power there, and now let the intermediate, or you've got the capacity, or let the intermediaries get the power and fill it and keep those people moving,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that solves the same solution, doesn't it?
Everything was spoken out of that plant on intermodal.
Okay.
So all we had to do is just keep a steady stream of cans coming in there, all 24/7, 365.
Right.
But in using working with a partner carrier and using they did like a pool, if you will, and we just, as long as we kept the utilization up on the equipment, they were fine.
Yeah, gotcha. So, John, I've known you for a number of years, and you said something that if anybody knows you, they know that is 100% true, and it is your core, is that you're big on relationships. There's no doubt about it. In this industry, as we move forward, there's been a lot of talk about over the years, and you've heard it, where the voice broker is gone, automation and everything is going to take over that. But then you had also, the automation allows for the relationships to build, et cetera. How have you seen that kind of evolve, or have you seen that evolve? And also, just to go along with that, how important is that relationship over that automation, or is there a point where that overcomes the relationship part, or the other way?
That's an interesting question. I'm old school. I'm going to be old school. I'm shake your hand, write on a piece of paper kind of guy.
Yeah.
I use tech because that's what I have to, and I learn what I have to learn so I can do it. So, but it's not my favorite way of communicating. I think there will be simple things. One thing I would say is, like kind of, checking on load status or a POD, or, where's this at? Where's that at, kind of thing. Those kind of email exchanges that go on throughout the day, that could probably be automated. I mean, you're not talking to anybody anyway. And then the remainder of it is you cultivate and build the relationships, especially for like the bigger pieces of the pie, the ones that's a machine or may not be able to completely finesse out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you get an automated visibility email or notification of some sort, and there's some sort of additional question to that, can that technology deal with that?
Yeah, I think I look at it like relational and transactional, right? Those type of emails to me are transactional.
Yeah.
Did it get there? Yes, it did. Okay, thank you, and that's it. So I mean, it's that's not a conversation. That's not building a relationship. And then the relational piece is the one where I don't think. I mean, AI is going to be able to completely do that. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we will have to see. But I'm talking about when you get into the automation factors, like, you had, when we spoke, and I won't reveal anything that is proprietary or anything like that. But in a former project that you were doing, you were running around trying to find capacity for a specific product that was in a spike demand happened, right? And I was calling you about lyrics to a song. and you were like, yeah, I got this issue that I got to handle right now, right?
Yeah,
I think you might know what I'm referring to, right? And so, in those type of instances, do you see, or have you seen technology take over those? In other words, let's make it more broad. As a shipper, what are your areas dealing with your service providers, your capacity providers, et cetera? Where would you like to see more automation, and where would you like it to not be? Or where are those issues where you see that there could be the greatest help for those people out there listening, where these are the holes you guys are missing, or here you guys are knocking out of the park, here you need to keep expanding that? Do you see or have any opinions on those?
That's your questions are getting deeper here. I'm gonna have to snorkel down.
I'm testing the waters.
Yeah, it's a very steep gradient.
Well, they say that, grass doesn't grow on a busy street. So I'm just thinking you're a very deep thinker.
I would say this is straight up, John. It's nobody else's opinion. It's just mine.
Yeah.
I would see, and you have to almost put a caveat on this. The two, to me, the two worst operations in this industry are claims and freight payment. And I think AI could probably, there's a human element in both of those that's causing what I would say data entry errors. It's just a fact. People make mistakes. I fat finger stuff all the time. So if you can get something in AI that could drive the accuracy as well as automate those processes, then you could see some efficiencies in there, and probably some cost reduction because carriers would more than likely be getting paid sooner, and the claims process wouldn't be so laborious as it is.
Mm. Mm. There's a lot of opinion based in claims, right? I mean, it's not it's a lot less factual than people might think, right?
It's
Or is it factual, but opinions leak into it for, just for argument's sake?
I think it's subject to interpretation, and that's sometimes what it boils down to.
Yeah.
That would probably be one of the few hindrances for AI because I'm not sure a machine could ration that out. Because I know I've talked to some people negotiating claims, and let's just say it wasn't an irrational conversation.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. There's this irrationality to it that kind of prohibits that, because both sides would have to agree that the AI is the final word, right?
Like a mediator, yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to agree on something like that.
Yeah. That would probably be the only setback. I still think freight payment is an open field for it because there's outside of disputing the freight bills, there's not a lot of discrepancies running through there, and a lot of at least most of the TMSs I've worked with, the invoice is practically done at the time that the shipment is closed. So. I won't name any names, but you load up your accessorials and they're going to cut you a check, and you're not even going to have to send them a bill.
Yeah, yeah, because they're there, and that's what was agreed upon. Now you deal with hundreds and hundreds of different locations, right? Or your department does.
Yes.
Right, and so you've got vendors and capacity suppliers, service providers all over the country of various different names and sizes and capabilities all over it. How important is it to you that they are? Do you care one way or another if they're automated or high tech, or if they're just a mom and pop type of and they're just getting the job done?
As long as they're efficient, I'm good. Your mom and pop operators tend to handle more what I would call the niche business, the kind of hole in the wall places that nobody else wants. And then, the other guys are handling the bigger pieces as well. So, I get both of them. I like watching an automated warehouse because I'm a freight geek. I like watching the freight go around the track. But yeah, I've had some of the best asset based carriers I had. I had a company, family owned, obviously, 6 trucks. My last company, and we had a customer. Publix was still just in Florida, maybe in a little bit into Georgia. Very sensitive customer. Their docks are not exactly efficient, so they hold you up. And if you're running a pedal run down there, you're going to run out of hours. And this guy, he ran from Chicago to Florida. Little mom and pop. And I was like a $40 million spend. So, I mean, he couldn't take a lot, but I mean, he took my worst customer and gave him white glove service for a decent rate.
Yeah.
There's a place for everybody, and it's your logistics manager, your trans manager, your supply, whatever you call it now, your supply chain manager. It's part of, in my personal opinion, it is part of their job to patchwork a network across their supply chain of brokers and asset carriers, mom and pops, medium, large, depending on what kind of freight spin you have, and to build a supply chain out of that using their uh, lanes that they shine in. You know, in other words, he's the coach of the team, right? And he's got to bring in the right team members. He's got to put them in the right place at the right time for the right price.
Gotcha. So, and that makes 100% sense. Have you seen a significant change in capacity over the last year, or availability of capacity? Have you seen any pressure of loss of capacity or anything like that you would consider, it's harder to get a load filled, or to find a piece of equipment to put freight on?
Speaking, no, I really haven't seen a lot of flex like that, and I haven't seen anything really in the market to kind of show that. And one of the one of the sources I use to kind of take a look at the market is the Morgan Stanley Freight Index. I'm sure you're familiar with that one, and it's been staying relatively flat. So trucks to loads. So I haven't seen a lot. I know before the election, everybody was kind of holding tight to see who was going to win the election.
Right.
So now the election's been won. You may see some uptick early next year because of that.
Yeah. Is your current business seasonal, or has it been impacted by the so-called freight recession?
Not impacted by the freight recession. We've been, like I said, pretty sustainable. So just kind of rolling with the flow, but the freight recession has not necessarily put us in a bind.
Gotcha. What do you can you share opinion on RFP season, or do you adhere to regular RFP season?
Back in the day, and you know this as well as I do, before COVID, we were doing 12-month cycles.
Yeah.
Now we do 6-month cycles.
Gotcha.
The broker carrier partner doesn't know what's going to happen technically in 6 months, and
right.
Neither do the shippers. So they're just playing it kind of cautiously optimistic. That may change next year. I don't know. They may go back to 12, but 6 seems to be a pretty reasonable number. It's looking far enough ahead, but not shooting yourself in the foot should the market take an upturn or a downturn quickly.
Gotcha. So you think that's better for both sides, really?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. How's efficiency in handling that? Because that was one of the big arguments, was if you went from annual to 6 months, you're constantly in RFP season, right? For so to speak. Has that really been an issue, or is it pretty easy to manage? Or
well, the funny thing is, it's everything is a matter of perspective. Okay, so when I got on board, we were doing RFPs every 3 months.
Yeah.
And it was a very manual.
Oh, wow.
Very manual process. So telling my folks that we're going to 6 months, I got a lot of hoorays and high fives because I cut their data entry in half. So they were woohoo, yay. John's a hero for the day.
John is a hero for the day. All right, let's switch gears here for the last couple minutes here. What inspired you to start doing these parody songs with this?
Oh man, that is.
How did we start doing that, dude? I can't even remember how we started doing it.
It's been a journey, man. It has really been a journey. One that neither of us, I think, would think we would have to take. So you were still with FreightWise, and you guys were doing your Christmas show, and you were having offices send in videos and whatnot.
That's right.
And I told you I was going to send you a song. So we did the 12 Days of Christmas, supply chain style. You brought your steel guitar out on the show and just rocked the crap out of it.
Oh, that's right. We did it like Ramones style, right? It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
just total punked out. Me and Dooner. Yeah.
You and Dooner just knocked it out of the park. I was actually getting. It was funny because I found out that it hit Canada and the West Coast in about 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I was doing podcast interviews with some buddies in Canada and my distributors out there in the West Coast, and they were like, "Dude, why didn't you sing that song when you came on our show?" And I was like, "Dude, I didn't sing it the first time." But they were pretty adamant about it. He's like, "Man, you should have brought that on. You should have played that." And I'm like, "Okay." And then it kind of took off from there. And then we did you remember the Perfect Supply Chain song?
That was a fantastic piece of work, if you ask me. I think that was excellent, dude. I mean, it is in that time frame of COVID, right? Why don't they ever care about supply chain, right? That was fantastic.
What was so funny about that is I turned these tunes onto some of the people in my office.
Yeah.
And they're listening to it, through their headphones right there at the desk, and they look at me. He mentions your name. I said, I wrote the song.
I wrote the song. What are you talking about?
They just thought that was so cool that you mentioned my name.
Like I'm a star, that I lowered myself or brought you up to this level by mentioning your name.
I was like, that made my whole day, man. That really did. That was funny.
That is fantastic. Well, we got a good one coming out, right? We got the abridged version, Can You Hear Me Knocking, coming out here hopefully in the next week. I'm almost finished with that one. And we got our Christmas special coming out,
yes,
right?
We do. Yes, we do.
Which is fantastic. So do you have any insight onto how you do these lyrics? Do you just randomly select new words, or what's your technique, bro?
We being the anal person that I am, have really turned this into a science.
Okay.
I have a process, man. I got a process.
So trust the process, brother. That's a good one, because all I can tell you is it's spot on. They're spot on.
Yeah, the first thing I do is I print off the lyrics off online, print them off, because I'm a paper and pencil kind of guy. And what I'll do is I'll go out there on Pandora or one of the streaming networks, and I'll play the song. Even if I hear it, every other day, I'll still play the song because I want to hear the notes and the tempo and all that. Mm-hmm. I'm not musically inclined at all. And then I'll start going line by line, and I'm literally counting the syllables to make sure whatever I replace it with matches as close to the number of syllables it was, as well as has a good rhyme with the verse it's rhyming with. And that's so that you can sing it, because if I put too many syllables in, it's going to choke you up.
Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, exactly. So and I appreciate that.
And what I'll do is I'll do line by line. I jump around, and then I highlight the lines that I've finished. And when the whole document is bright yellow, then I clear it off and send it to you.
There you go. It sounds like it's something that could be done by AI. I might have to. No,
you may need to replace me.
No, I don't think so. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there at all. Brother, I'm looking forward to this one. I've got the lyrics in my inbox. I have not read through them yet, because I got to get this other one out, and then we'll get the next one out. But I have listened to the tune, and we'll have it out quickly. We'll have that one out here, the next Christmas song. So, and I'll link everything for everybody, so we can get more fans, because we need more than 13 fans.
We need more than 13. We need at least 14.
We need at least 14 fans.
We need at least 14.
Well, I don't know if this 13 are actually fans, or if they're just forced to listen to it because they're in your office.
That's funny. I loop it over a cat video and send it to him.
Okay, there you go. Sucker, man. I love it, my friend. John, it's always a pleasure catching up with you, my friend. And I really appreciate you coming on, my friend.
I appreciate the time, brother.
You got it, my friend. Everybody, thank you for tuning in, downloading Freight Executive Insights. I'm Mike Vincent. He's John Brewer. Peace and love.